y'all. Welcome back to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two friends recap and review romance novels while giggling and occasionally going off on semi-related tangents. Erin and I want to take a quick second to thank all of those who have given us ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts. It seriously means so much that you've taken that time for us, and it helps others find our little pod. Also, big news, after all of your feedback, we started the Facebook group. You can meet and chat with each other at our Facebook group, Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult. That's right, we decided the jig was already up. All right, HBs, let's dig into the second part of Beard Science by Penny Reid. Cletus and Jennifer deserve their sexy times too, right? Okay, hi, Erin.
Hey, Mel.
Hey,
Yeah.
Erin. I was thinking the other day. Actually, I've been thinking a lot about who I would cast you in as a movie. Nope. Who I would cast you in a movie. What? Who I'd cast as you.
Wait, I want to know what movie you would cast me as. Who you would cast me in as a movie. That's what I want to know.
I am not prepared to answer that question.
Okay.
Although, I just came to the realization that I am a completely different character in my brain from one of my favorite childhood movies.
Which is?
And it was, well, I did a whole social media thing. So HBs, I'm sorry if you already know this, but I fucking loved Grease when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I always thought I was Sandy, the sought after, beautiful.
You thought you were a Sandy?
I mean, I wanted to be Sandy. You know what I mean? It was aspirational. I was
no
10
one
at the
wants
time.
to be Sandy. Her friends threw a sleepover to make fun of her.
Fair,
no one
fair,
wants
no.
to be Sandy.
I
The only
hear you.
person in that movie that likes Sandy is John Travolta. He's the only one. Everyone else is like, her? Everyone else.
I know. But in kid brain, I was like, Sandy is the one the boy wants. So
Sure.
Sandy is the one I want to be. She also wasn't the one who had a pregnancy scare. And I was very attuned to pregnancy scares, having a newborn brother at the age of 9. I've always been terrified of getting
I was
pregnant.
going to say, like, you know, in theory, Rizzo is also the one the boys want and get.
Yeah. No, her womb obviously worked at that point, and I was not in it.
I don't know. She was pretty close to menopause, I think, when she filmed that movie. So
Wow.
it's like 45,
Fair.
like a hard 30 when that movie was filmed.
I know. Do you remember the actress who played Cha-Cha Gabor? She had to be 47.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hot. Don't get me wrong, but not at all a teenager.
Oh, and Stockard Channing's still hot, but also not a teenager.
Still
Anyway,
so
I
hot.
interrupted you like 16 times when all you're trying to say is one simple thing. What's up?
You're fine. I would be Jan.
Is she the
I
real
would
weird
totally-
one?
Yeah,
Fair.
she's the one who always has like the pigtails. She always asks for TMI. She's the one in
With
in
the gum.
Tell Me More song.
She always
who
has
does,
gum, right?
Maybe. I
Ooh,
don't
we just lost a
super
listener.
remember
Sorry,
that.
guys.
Yeah, don't do
Sorry.
that.
Unsubscribe. Mouth sound. Nope.
She's the one who always who said like tell me more, like does he have a car? Like she's not she doesn't mince words, our Jan. She's also the one who performed the brusha with the new Ipana song on at the sleepover.
That. I was not a big Grease fan.
Listen, it's the only way I can get Ember to let me brush his teeth right now. I have to quote unquote sing the song. Otherwise, he won't let me get near his little chompers. So that's actually how I came to this realization. I was doing different yet no less roaring renditions of the Brusha song for Ember. And I realized then and there, I wasn't a Sandy.
Honestly,
I was, of course, a Jan.
it just blew my mind just now that your child has teeth. Like, it just blew my mind. Like,
Oh, he has a full set of teeth.
I'm sure he's got a whole set of them. But I was just
He
like,
does.
what? Didn't that thing just come out? Like, we've already got teeth?
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. But no, his second birthday is next month, and I don't know what to do about it.
That doesn't give me any more knowledge about like whether he should have teeth. Like you can throw any number out there. And you know what? Thanks for saying second birthday and not 24-month birthday.
That's not how that works.
I don't know how it works. But
you also have no curiosity about how it works.
No, I don't want. This is like me talking about all the England Times things in 9 Rules to Break. I'm like, I don't want to know the answers. I just want to tell you that I don't know the information.
I completely hear you. Yeah, and that's why I've stopped attempting to explain it to you.
All right. Okay, so fess up. Who would play me in a movie?
This was supposed to be you.
What movie would play me in a movie? Tell me. Is it going to upset me?
I don't.
You have a look
not.
on your face like it's going to upset me.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't think it's going to upset you. I'm just going to think, I sort of think you might think it's like a cop-out because I just like have you inextricably linked with this person in my brain.
That's how I have you and Laura Dern. You are tied together.
Yeah, but I've never heard that before.
I'm surprised I've never told you that before.
I know, but also like Laura Dern is such a flamingo, you know, and like I'm such a dragon, you know.
Hey, listener, if you're still out there, I don't know if you are. Melody just like flailed her arms in like a flying motion. Why didn't you say dragon when we did the animals? What animal we would be when we did the Bridget one?
Oh, because we don't know enough about how dragons care for their young.
What? That's the reason why. Like you thought about it and then you were like, we don't know enough about their parenting skills. Off the list.
I know that otters are super snugglers, which is basically who I am as a mom.
Yeah, well, we know some other stuff about otters.
Well, I didn't know that. And we also, I'm just going to think that the mythical creature does not rape things to death and then become necrophilic. That's just what I'm going to think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll allow them to eat other dragons' eggs. I'll allow them to do that.
We got an otter pelt last weekend. Did you see? Did I show you?
I did. Yeah, you sent me that photo.
Yeah, we got it at the auction. Mm-hmm. Hey guys, I'm just saying this because I feel like we could stand to lose some more listeners in the.
Yeah, carry on.
So we went to the Alaskan Festival for Rendezvous. That is fur, one word, and then rendezvous, second word. It's when all the fur trappers rendezvous in the city of Anchorage and sell all their furs historically. And it's become a big festival where there's snow carving competitions and there's running with the reindeer and there's outhouse races and there's, what else do we have? The start of the Iditarod.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you back up to outhouse races?
Yeah, you like make an outhouse. You build an outhouse and then you have to put it on skis. And then somebody has to pull. And
who's pooping?
No one's pooping. Like, it's not a functioning outhouse. But you have to have somebody in there.
Pooping.
And then, no, they don't have to be pooping.
Ideally.
I like the idea that if you entered, you'd be like, the person in there has to be pooping.
I can't be in there because I'm not going to poop.
But then you raise, so there's like one where it's like you have to have 3 people and one where it's just one and somebody pulls it and it's a whole thing.
I thought it was going to be more like racing to the outhouse. Like, get out of the way.
Racing. Oh, I gotcha. No, it's fun because they put them on skis and all the streets are filled with snow. So then there's like a turnaround point, and usually the turnaround point they all like tip over and stuff. It's funny.
Oh man, that reminds me of American Vandal when they push over the outhouse in the YouTube video.
Yeah.
Ah, that thing was so good.
If there's no poop involved, I just want to say it one more time.
Fair. Yeah, so you got that at an auction, and wasn't that like a charity auction?
It wasn't a charity auction. They have different auctions. Like some of them are they're selling the furs because they were trapped illegally, and I think the proceeds go to the state. I don't know. I may be misspeaking there. But the one that I got it at was like the children's auction. So they were children who had trapped the animals. So it's kind of like the 4-H, the children's trappers auction. So this otter was trapped by like a 10-year-old boy. It's kind
Or
of
girl?
Cool. No, it was
Or
a boy.
do you know?
Because they have them come up
know.
on the stage and they hold up their furs, and then the
wow.
auctioneer does the auctioning. I'll put a picture up. I took a picture. I don't know of the I don't know if it was of the otter kid that I bought the otter from, or David bought the otter from, but it's a similar kid. Okay, so I want to know, who is it?
Oh yeah.
Is it a
Okay.
supermodel? Is it?
Okay.
God, I'm
It
so
is.
nervous. It's like,
Drum roll, please.
no, I can't.
It is Gillian Anderson.
Gillian Anderson.
Yeah. That's
No.
how. And
But what you mean is 1993 Gillian Anderson, right?
I don't mean that. No.
You mean
I
current
watched her-
Gillian Anderson?
I mean any Gillian Anderson. I could ask you the same thing about Laura Dern, right? Like, she is so good, and I feel like she could totally master your deadpan without like losing any of the energy or the charisma that you naturally have.
Do you remember?
And the things that she does with just the pools of her blue eyes is
Which
just
I don't
insane.
have.
No, I understand that, but you do a lot of expression. You didn't have eyebrows for a while, bitch.
Now
you
I
had
do.
to. I know that, but you do so much emoting through your eyes
Fair.
that I want Gillian Anderson to play you in a movie.
I think, honestly,
and I don't mean 1993 Dana fucking Scully, and that's why I think I thought you might think.
I just feel like she had a much rounder face back then. I feel like she looked like me more back then. That's
okay,
all.
listen. Does Laura Dern look like me? Flamingo versus dragon.
No, she's just your essence. She has
See?
the soul of a melody. That's probably the biggest of all actresses you could have said. That's probably the biggest compliment. All day at work, I drink out of a Dana Scully mug. That's all I ever wanted to be when I was little, Special Agent Dana Scully. You know, when they did do you remember when it was going on Facebook to do like the 3 characters that you're most like?
Yeah.
What, did you do that?
I didn't, but I think I figured it out. I know that one of them was Chunk from Goonies for me.
Did we have a phone conversation about this?
We did, yeah.
Because I remember.
I couldn't figure out the
talking about
third
Chunk.
one, so I didn't post it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, I might have. I'm going to go through our text real quick. Keep talking.
You're going to go... Because I remember now, because you called me. And you were like,
yeah, I was
having
a really hard
doing
time
this
with it.
Facebook thing. I know Jump from Goonies.
Well, because I love those little exercises because I like to see whether or not I match up in my brain with what my friends think and vice versa.
Yeah, it's just funny. I immediately knew mine. Mine was like Dana Scully, Amy Gardner from The West Wing, and oh no, I don't remember her name. Oh no, the girl from The Cutting Edge, played by Maura Kelly. And I don't remember her name in the thing. Anyway, but those were the 3. And I was like, these are 3 humorless bitches. But I think this is really accurate.
But you have so much humor.
I know. But so did Amy Gardner.
But you don't suffer fools. Except for me. I'm basically your personal court jester.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Okay, wait. So 2 of mine, and this is why I didn't post it. 2 of mine were Chunk from the Goonies and Kaylee from Firefly.
Did I tell you that one?
No, you
That's
did not.
remarkable.
I already had it.
That
you
is
were like,
that is an accurate.
Yeah,
character.
I basically am Kaylee from Firefly, except I don't know anything about engines.
Wow. But like, I feel like if you did know a lot about engines, it would be like weirdly sexual, kind of like Kaylee.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
Lube it up.
The way that you said
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, wait.
Does that bring us to the book?
Speaking of weirdly sexual.
Perfect. Speaking of weirdly sexual engine fixing.
We left off in Beard Science by Penny Reid, where they were just also using crazy analogies about baking to talk about kissing and having sex and making sure that you only partner with discernible bakers. He is starting to feel feelings for her, but he doesn't know it yet because he cannot make his Cletus brain recalibrate fast enough. And Jennifer is fully on board with dating Cletus, but she's too scared to tell him. So.
And she just smooched him on the cheek.
Yes. He got into his car to drive away and she smooched him right on the cheek.
Yeah.
And it was super cute. And the end of his chapter is him going, shit.
Yeah.
Which I loved. So she hasn't heard from Cletus in about 10 days since then because he's having a little minor Jennifer meltdown.
Mm-hmm.
So she decides to bring him muffins at the auto shop. She is inventing a reason to see him. She's trying to remind herself that she is blackmailing him and that they are not friends and that she needs to prepare herself for the rejection. She's currently wearing black nail polish, which I fucking love.
Uh-huh. Her parents are freaking out.
Oh, her parents are just in a stew.
They think she's in full rebellion over the nail polish.
Completely. Yeah, as if that is huge. Can you imagine? Like, my mom, I'm not going to lie, my mom, when she saw my piercings, every time she talks to me now, she's got this weird, like, manic look in her eye, like on FaceTime. But she hasn't said a goddamn word because I'm a 30-year-old woman, almost 31.
Every time I go home, my mother is like, "Where's the tattoo? I know you got one." Like, it's just like, I know what's happening. Like, if I'm not, like, actively telling her I don't have a tattoo, she's like, it happened
She's
in
convinced.
the last 10 minutes. I'm sure of it.
I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so she started wondering if she should blackmail him into marrying her. And she's, like, chiding herself, being like, shut up, Jennifer, like, blah. So the other thing she's been doing is that she's been leaving the room every single time her father says that she's stupid.
Mm-hmm. And he says it a lot.
And I really, really appreciate that about her because she used to try to turn it into compliments. And now she's just like, no, you don't get to talk to me like that anymore, and promptly leaves the room. So I've been pretty proud of Jennifer at this point. So she brings the they're blueberry pancake muffins.
And Cletus's favorite food is blueberry pancakes, but she didn't know that.
She didn't. They're just meant to be, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I would have shown up with like fucking rhubarb muffins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's pretty perfect.
They're suited.
They're suited.
As the Winstons say.
Yeah. Okay. So Bo catches her out in the parking lot and whisks her inside and is like, I'll make coffee, we'll chat for a bit. Like,
he's so flirty. He's like, what is this, the
Bo.
banana cake queen? Like, she looks very different. Bo's the very, very flirty brother. Well, one of the two, but he's the charmingest of all of them. And so he's like giving her all the smiles and giving her all the like the winks and putting on the charm and telling her eyes are beautiful. And boy, does he like these blueberry muffins. And he's like, Jennifer.
yeah.
And when
before that though, Cletus gives her like sort of a tepid hello. And she like sort of freaks out because she's like, I've been thinking about you for 10 days. Here are your muffins. I gotta go. Like I'm just upset, you know? And I get that. So then she tries to escape. Bo catches her and stops her. And then Cletus comes over and he tries to like fix things with her. And at first he's like, there's something wrong with you. And she's like, pardon me. That is rude.
Yes.
Which I love. And then he shows her concern. And then he's like, do I need to maim Jackson with armadillo leprosy if he's done something untoward? Which again, I love the dislike of Jackson. I love it. I'm wholeheartedly behind it.
Poor guy.
No, fuck that guy. And then he brings her inside and they sit down with Bo. Cletus has intertwined her fingers and is like holding them against his thigh, which, woo, fanning myself.
There's a lot of descriptions of that handhold that are really good.
Yeah. And then Bo, this is when Bo starts flirting with her shamelessly.
Oh, okay.
And we find out a little bit later, but I'm not going to spoil why. We find out why in Bo's book, which is Beard in Mind. Go read it.
Bo and Shelley's book.
Bo and Shelley. Yeah. And so then Bo compliments her eyes and she thinks to herself, I appreciate it on the forefront, but it just sort of confirms to her, like any compliment about her looks confirms the decades-long messages that her father has put into her brain that people will only like her for her looks and not for her talents or for her mind or for her opinions or anything else. And it's like a really sweet and tragic look into Jennifer's brain, you know? So then during that flirt session, Bo also tells her that she should come to Nashville with them for Cletus's talent show.
Cletus's talent show.
Ooh, Cletus and Claire are going to do a singing thing for a talent show in Nashville.
Cletus plays the banjo. The sexiest instrument of all.
When fingered right, yes.
Fingered right.
So so then Bo is like, great, it's a date then. And Cletus is like, it is not a date. Meanwhile, he's still holding her hand.
Mm-hmm.
And Bo's like, no, not between you and Jennifer, dummy, between me and Jennifer. And Cletus is like, that's it. He proverbially flips the table and takes Jennifer and her muffins away. It's so cute.
Yeah, I think Bo's eaten like 10 muffins, and he's like, you've lost your right to these muffins, and Bo's like making muffin jokes. It's pretty great.
And her muffin in general.
Yeah.
Bosif, Beaufort, Bomo sapien. Okay, they leave the auto shop, and he drives her into the woods to hike because Jethro's found this little turnoff that he really likes. They have this adorable scene in the woods where he asks if she still goes out with Jackson again, and tells her that she can talk to Claire in Nashville again because he's never sent her Claire's info about talking to her about discernible baking and
Sex
and kissing. Right. Wait, discernible baking? That is not the same thing as discerning bakers. Yikes. Like, can I discern right now?
I think it's close.
But it's more voyeuristic in a weird way.
When you said that, I was like, yeah, that's right. That's the thing that they say.
No, that would have bothered me so much had I listened to it back if I didn't correct myself. Because that is voyeuristic. That is not. So, so she says that she really wants to go to Nashville, but she's not sure that her father will let her. And he asks if it would be okay if like it's another fake date with Billy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, honestly, yeah. And they do a whole talk about what is in her dad's mind about like men that he would approve of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's money and or notoriety, just so
Right.
you know, everybody.
He likes how Billy has like risen up. Have we said this in his company and like become
Yeah.
a VP? That's what he likes.
Yeah,
about
I'm sure
Billy.
we'll find out in Billy's book coming out in July of 2018, Dr. Strangebeard. Okay. Just so everyone knows. Pre-order, guys. You can pre-order. And then he asks her why she loves kids so much, and she goes on the best rant about being a mother and like having a family and being a team and all the things. And my feminist heart soared over it. I'm not gonna lie, just soared. He tells her how incredible she is with her team, and then he forces her to accept what a badass she is in the kitchen and then just generally, which I don't know. I sort of fell over. Did you fall over?
Yeah, and it's not, he's not complimenting like how good she is at baking banana cakes,
No.
which is what the whole town always compliments her over. He's complimenting the way that she is able to manage the kitchen and like answer questions and be doing things and like giving people tasks and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is a better compliment, I think.
It is, absolutely. Yeah, especially for her, because she doesn't get those.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tells her all about his dad and how he had another family. And it's a beautiful, beautiful scene.
Mm-hmm.
And she dies of cancer. I don't want to give everything away. And that's like something we can hold back, I think. So, yeah.
Is this where she asks him about his beard?
I don't know.
There's a part where she says, or she asks if he grew a beard for a certain reason.
Oh, no, that's at the picnic table before.
Oh, okay.
But it is a lovely little thing.
And he said, no. She said something like, is that why you and your brothers all have beards? And he's like, no, we all have beards because our daddy never taught us to shave.
Oh.
Right in the heart.
Right. Right in the heart.
Puck to the heart. Hockey
Right in the
puck
womb
to the chest.
on my, so bad. So then he tells her, like they keep talking, and he tells her that her father is ugly and not for his physical appearance, but he doesn't tell her about her father's affair. Oh, and then he's just like, he throws in there that they should practice kissing. And
she needs practice.
She thinks she needs practice.
Right.
But also, she's like, I don't want to do that because I really want to do that. Like, in her brain, she's like, if I kiss Cletus, there's no going back. There's no practicing kissing Cletus. Because our Jennifer is very self-aware.
Yeah. And she's got
Very
such a big old crush on Cletus. And Cletus cannot stop thinking about doing sexy stuff to Jennifer. So he's like, maybe I'll say that I need to practice smooching on her. And that's how I can get to smooch her. Oh, it's so good. But she says no.
Profess her undying love.
She does not want to practice kissing on him.
She says no.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So then we cut forward to Billy and Bo picking her up to go to Nashville for the talent show. Everyone else is already there.
Mm-hmm.
And they invite her to Thanksgiving, which I just swooned over. They're like, you can't bring anything and you have to come.
Mm-hmm.
So good. You have plans for Thanksgiving now.
Yay!
And she watches him in the talent show with Claire and realizes that he agitates all her emotions.
Yeah. You watch any man on stage playing a banjo. I don't know why I like banjos so much. What is it?
Because they're really intricate and they're really hard to do well.
Yeah, maybe that's it. It's like a talent thing. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm such a talent whore,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like just generally.
It's just
like,
so
I
much
just
more
know this about myself.
impressive to me than a guitar.
Like the acoustic guitar. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I feel like anyone can bust out Wonderwall. It's hard. It's hard to play a banjo.
Anybody can be the guitar guy at the party.
Yeah, like
We all
anyone
hate the
can
guitar
be
guy at
like,
the party.
Here's Crash by Dave Matthews Guys. But like,
Yeah, anybody can do 3 chords over and over again,
Right.
which is often what the acoustic guitar does.
right.
Although it's weird because I don't feel that way about the bass, upright or like rock and roll bass.
Meaning
I
that you're impressed by
fucking
it?
love. Oh.
Even though it's just
I
like
always
bing,
go for the
boom, bong,
bassist.
bing, boom, bong, bing, boom, bong, bong,
And I
bong,
think
bong,
it's like
bong.
the low reverberations that just hit me right in the sex parts. Like I don't know
So it's
what
like a
it is.
physical.
I always go well, and okay. Here's my other theory. All right, I'm just gonna go for it. Here's my other theory about bands.
Wait, I just
What?
want to know if you'd get the same sexual feeling for like a guy that just set up a subwoofer like near your crotch. Like, is it just the low notes?
It's not like it's not necessarily just the vibrations, although they help.
Sorry, I'm just kidding.
No, I know.
Bong, bong, bong.
Oh, all right. No, here's my theory about bands and who you should and should not go for. Okay.
Oh God.
You should never ever go for the lead singer because he will never worry about your orgasm. He's gonna be like the pow 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 pow, or just give me a blowjob and then leave my dressing room. That's the lead singer, in my humble opinion. There are unicorns out there, but generally, the people who need like that much affirmation and like that much center of attention, it's not a good look for your clitoris. Second, or I should say, in opposition, you should always go for the bassist because they are the chillest. They're always just like standing back there, keeping the whole band together with their low notes. Yeah, and like it's more of a rhythm instrument than anything else. So they're good at picking up the rhythm they need to keep with. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like the most stable member. They're usually like the ones that are just hanging back and enjoying the whole experience, you know, but also they're really into like making everything work.
Oh, you've really thought about this.
Absolutely. Then you can also, the drummer is, the drummer has stamina. Woof. You know what I'm saying? So,
See, I always heard you should never date a drummer. Isn't that like a thing out in the world? No, don't date drummers.
You know what? I had a really, really satisfying casual relationship with a drummer for a while. He's now married, and I've spoken to his wife actually just recently about the fact that like I had a really good time with her husband. And
You
she
know
was
what?
like, awesome.
That's fine. I had a really good casual relationship with a lead singer one time.
That's so weird to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. There's so much like affirmation that has to go on. Also, unsung heroes of the band world, keyboardists.
What? No. Nope.
Yep.
It's a hard pass for me. Nope.
Fair, but here's my theory about keyboardists. They don't mind being the nerdiest band member, and there is something so like I'm cool with myself about that I can't not get down with. Not to mention that Jenny Lewis and the twins, the keyboardist twin, oh boy, she is so foxy. So
I don't care how
that's
much
my theory on
confidence
bands.
about being a nerd the keyboardist has. Like, I need to have a little bit of confidence the keyboardist isn't a total nerd.
You're much more anti-nerd than I am, though.
Yeah,
Just
well,
on
I'm
the
not
face of it.
anti-nerd. I
As far as like sexually speaking goes, you like
yeah,
big burly bad boy, park ranger, law enforcement, army dudes. And I like them nerdy a lot of times.
Fair.
Yeah. Okay, we should get back, right?
I just don't want to go on the record as being anti-nerd. Chemistry-wise, not into it. That's all.
All right, so we are at the talent show.
We're at the talent show.
She's like, he makes me feel all the feelings, and I hear that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then a footman takes her backstage and
passes her a note. Meet me backstage.
on a silver platter.
See. No, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. No, an usher just comes, gets her.
Yeah.
She goes backstage and she goes into the dressing room with Claire and Cletus. And can I just say, I don't know if I've ever channeled a Penny character more than I did Claire at this moment.
You're very Claire.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I've never I've loved all the women that I've seen Penny write, but I've never super connected with a woman that Penny has written.
Oh, I wonder
thus far that I've read. But I think Claire's my girl.
Yeah, Claire is your girl. I don't know that I've connected that strongly to. I'll think about it. Anyway.
Yeah, think about it. Okay, so she tells Jennifer that kissing and sex aren't about experience. They're about the partner. And she does this beautiful baseball analogy from her old husband that is her deceased husband, who, I mean, it's just gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And she ends the whole thing with, that's the difference love makes. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. And Cletus is looking at Jen ravenously throughout this whole thing. So then they go to dinner, and Cletus and Billy have this heart-wrenching exchange about Claire and Jen, because Billy and Claire are still...
whatever it is that they're doing. I don't know. We will find out in their book, but they are a very complicated relationship, clearly.
And they're like in love but won't acknowledge it.
Have you read the letter that Penny published from Billy to Claire? She sent it out in her newsletter. She wrote just like a letter from Billy to Claire, and it's just heart-wrenching.
Really?
Anyway, but Cletus gives Billy the advice that he ought to just lay it all on the table with Claire.
Yeah.
He needs to just tell her. And he says when it's, man, I'm going to butcher this.
He says, when you're certain, when it's the heart and mind you're after, then you lay it all out. But if it's empty, just physical, then there's nothing to say.
And so Jen overhears that and she thinks, oh, that's why he's not saying anything, because he just really wants to do sex with me. He does not want to date me. Right. And it makes her feel bad.
I don't blame her.
And that is how Cletus feels at this point.
That's how he thinks he feels, the idiot.
He doesn't get it.
Okay, so then they're driving home with Dwayne and Jess. And Jess says she wants to help Jen get a vibrator because every single one of Penny's women are queens. And I love it. No. So then a couple of days later, Cletus is at the shop and he realizes that Shelley has OCD, which pops up in Beau's book. And then he goes to the bakery and he tries to tell himself again that his attraction is only physical. And then the plan is meet her at the bakery, take her to the sex toy shop to meet up with Dwayne and Jess so that Jess can help her. So he goes to the bakery and she rubs his arms because he's cold. And she puts his hands on her cheeks to warm him up. And then he just loses his GD mind.
He just goes in there, gets in there.
Oh, God. And he kisses her. And then he puts her up on the kitchen counter. And he starts...
Puts her up on the kitchen counter, Melody.
Uh-huh.
Like, he grabs her ass, lifts her up there. Like, it's good. I'm sorry. Oh. I just couldn't deal with just puts her on the kitchen counter. It was great.
I hear you. It was so, so good. And then this is one of those moments where you get a peek inside his brain, which is just as sexy as having, like, on-the-page sex. Because he's thinking to himself, like, oh, man, she's so wonderful and, like, such a willing kisser and like all the things. Like, I bet I could. Yeah. Laundry list of sexy things I could do. He goes through
all the things he's imagining. It's really great.
It's real yum. And then he pulls himself away because he can't stop. He feels like if he goes any further, he won't be able to stop himself from doing all the things he's thinking about. And he hurls himself outside and he says that he's not going to be one more person who betrays her trust or who takes without asking. And it's like so sweet. But then she comes out and she's like, hey, why did you stop?
Yeah.
And he's like, believe me, if you were any other woman, I wouldn't have. And she's like, practice.
Oh, yeah, you're
right.
practicing smooches on me.
And, oh, no. And he just doesn't correct her. He knows that that's not the case, but he doesn't correct her. So she takes him inside and she's like, well, fine. I told you I have things for you. I have things for you. You have to eat all of these cookies that are in this cookie jar. They're these vanilla cookies. And he finds out about her Japanese pen pal, and he continues questioning her about like why he needs to eat all the cookies. Like, can't we just box them up? Can't we just like, why am I eating probably 2 dozen cookies? And she's like, fine. If you don't want my cookies, I'll just dump them. And his internal monologue is like, I think she might be talking about something other than cookies.
Yeah, but also he's just like so upset that cookies are going to waste. Like,
well, not, yeah. So then she dumps them and then immediately throws them into the bin. And he's like, what are you doing?
They were good cookies.
He goes full Cookie Monster.
And he's just like, I didn't understand. I would have eaten them. Like, it's fine. I was just asking questions is all. Jeez, you know. Like,
so funny. So then she hands him 4 jump drives and is like, these are the video.
I thought she already did that.
No,
okay.
no, this is the cookies. Yeah.
Okay.
She hid them under the cookies because he was going to get to the bottom and get to the 4 jump drives.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So, and tells him that he doesn't want his help anymore. And although he doesn't protest, he's like really heartsick. But it doesn't even cross his mind that there are other ways to save a video except for on your phone or on the cloud.
I know. That's why like
what?
I feel like people are going to come back on me and be like, listen, Cletus was just as much as a scofflaw as Alex was. Like, why do you have a problem with Alex and not Cletus? And it's because Cletus, A, has a reason for all the things he's doing. What did the NSA ever do to you, Alex? And he's so hapless. Jeez. He's not even that great at it. Like, he's like, I have a hacker friend. And it's like, you did, like, I don't know. It's just adorable to me that he doesn't think of thumb drives as a possible place where this thing is.
Completely. Yeah. So,
like his master plan for Jackson is giving him leprosy by letting an armadillo loose in the police station. Like, that's
Yeah, it's really cute. I think it's so adorable. And
yeah,
I know you do too. Yeah. Okay, so so he's really heartsick and he's like driving away saying, I am not ready to let her go. So then we fast forward to 1 week later. It's 1 week after Kiss and Cookie Gate. And he's doing yoga with Sienna, who is Jethro's fiance and baby mama. And finds out that Jen is coming to the wedding with Jackson James. Promptly sees red. Cannot handle his life.
Rolls up his yoga mat.
Rolls up his yoga mat so angrily.
No more yoga.
Goes and chops all the wood because that's what Winston men do when they're pissed. And I fucking love that.
They throughout, like, over the course of these books, there's just been like an ever enlarging wood pile in the back, and they don't know what to do because it's like becoming bigger and bigger, because in every love story there's at least one part where the man goes out back and just chops all the rest of the wood. And all the brothers are very concerned about, like, what are we going to do with all the wood? We don't have anywhere to store this. Yeah. So this is Cletus's wood chopping scene.
This came to 2 of my favorite things. One is that one of the sharks posted a whole thread of really chiseled bearded men chopping wood. And I photos of them. Yeah. And I lost my goddamn mind. But then the second thing is that in his chopping wood, like, daydreams, he's like, what could we do with all of these? Well, if our kids were older, my kids and Jethro's kid could sell all the wood and we could teach them about commerce.
He even says me and Jen's kids. And he's like, oh, I guess I'm in love with Jen even worse now.
It's
chopping wood.
It's so cute. So apparently he goes to visit Billy. and they have this really sweet conversation in this office, and you find out a metric fuck ton of backstory about both Billy and Cletus. And it's really, really gorgeous. But basically, the big take home for me was that Billy tries to talk Cletus out of his ridiculous notion that he shouldn't have children because he's got this temper and he can't trust himself because of the type of father their father was. And since this is such a huge hang up for Jen, like the one thing she's known she always wanted is I want kids. It's really good. And Billy's like, you should just admit that you're wrong about that. And Cletus goes, I cannot admit that I'm wrong about two things in one day. It might trigger the apocalypse. It's so
this
cute.
Was in such contrast. Like, Cletus coming around on wanting kids was in such contrast to me to the Bridget, I Want You book, where
Completely.
I forget the guy's name in that book, but he was just like, you know what? I haven't wanted kids, like, adamantly, but yeah, maybe we'll start doing fertility treatments for twins. Let's just do that today before we're even married. Let's just try that. Like, it just came out of nowhere. And this really did evolve for me.
Absolutely. It evolved beautifully. Okay, switch perspectives to Jennifer. Her mother tells her that she has to dress for work tomorrow. And she's like, sure, I'll wear the costume. And her mother's like, what? I thought you wanted to look pretty.
This isn't a costume. This is who you are.
Yeah. And Jennifer's like, no, absolutely not. Like, I don't like the clothes or the attention or being the banana cake queen. And those dresses don't make me feel pretty. And her mom leaves all pissed off. Jennifer couldn't find the last thumb drive because there were 5. And she finds it now. And then, so remember, this is 1 week after they kissed. They've both been thinking about each other the whole time. And she's like, she thinks it's like really futile.
She basically broke up with him. She was like, I don't want your help anymore. So she's done.
Yeah, because he kissed her for practice in her mind. Her whole plan was, I'm going to give you the cookies. I'm going to give you the thumb drives so that you know I have no leverage over you. And then I'm going to ask you out on a real date. And he just pooped all over her romantic parade.
Yeah, he was like, why am I eating all these cookies? I need to be rational about this. How many cookies am I supposed to eat?
Yeah, it's really... Well, and also kissing her all flustered and then being like, I don't give a shit. It was just practice.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jen goes to the Piggly Wiggly to pick up all of her bananas for her 813 banana cakes that she's got to make tomorrow. This woman bakes so much.
All right, here we are.
This poor thing.
I'm sorry. Listen, I've never felt the need to do this in a Penny Reid book before, but... Logistics with Erin. If you're baking... Say it's the week before Thanksgiving and you're baking 700 banana cakes. It says she bakes 700 banana cakes for that week.
Yeah.
How many fucking bananas do you need? And how many trips from the car to the Piggly Wiggly?
I know.
Because it's got to be at least 700 bananas, right?
Well, no, it has to be more than that.
Right, that's
because,
what I'm saying. But, I mean, it's at least one banana per cake. I'm assuming it's like 6 bananas per cake. I don't know.
Yeah. But here's the thing. This is not the 700 cake day. I'm sure they have those like industrially shipped in.
No, okay, but let's be conservative here and say it's like a 10 cake week. You still need like
60 bananas,
like 3 crates of bananas. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. She gets like a case of bananas. Yeah.
Yeah.
She says that.
But she always acts like she just goes in and carries out the case of bananas. Like, I just feel like it's a lot bigger than...
No, she does. But remember, in Jethro's book, Grin and Beard It, Jethro actually is like, whoa, like, let me carry those for you. Because it looks ridiculous.
I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot of bananas.
No, I know. But she's also, like, strong because she does all the things. And she's an awesome Wonder Woman of bakery.
I'm not saying otherwise.
No, but I'm saying that Penny has already set this up.
I agree.
She set up the logistics that it looks ridiculous, but Jen does it all the time.
I would have liked her to have made like 10 trips. That's all I wanted.
Put your logistical britches down.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so here's what happens. She goes to the Piggly Wiggly. She runs into her brother, and other bikers.
So she went to the Piggly Wiggly, didn't have time to change. I don't remember where she was or whatever before, but she's wearing high heels, dark jeans, and a black sweater. She wanted to change into sneakers for this.
Yeah, she's wearing a black sweater over like a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Like, she's not doing anything scandalous. Right. And even if she would, you can go fuck yourself, everyone.
But she's not in her like yellow banana dress. She's wearing high heels.
Right.
And stuff. Okay.
Right. So then her brother is like, What are you doing? Why are you dressed like that?
The brother that's in the biker gang now.
Ugh. And meanwhile, he hasn't spoken to her in like, I don't know, a couple of years.
Yeah.
Dickhead. And so he tells her she's dressing like a whore and disgracing the family. And Cletus comes over and things escalate. And he punches Isaac right in the jaw. Probably breaks his jaw. And it's really good. Mm-hmm. He says some things. I'm going to read it. Don't mind me, everybody. So her brother throws all this fake scripture at them because their dad has brainwashed them with fake scripture their whole lives. So Cletus, after punching him out, he's like, do you honestly think God would make a creature as lovely and talented and good as your sister and then make the way she looks something sinful, something to be ashamed of? No, he wouldn't. If anything, your sister, her face, her body, her mind, and her heart give glory to him, and she shouldn't be hidden. You don't hide something that remarkable away from the world, like your parents have done, like you want to do. That's the true sin. And then he's like, we gotta bounce.
Yeah, because now he's pissed off the biker gang. So like,
oh yeah, he's completely pissed them off. So they get into this biker car chase.
Well, first in the parking lot, she's like, I'm not getting in your truck. And he's like, the biker gang is after us. He's like, we can have the fight at another time, but you're getting in this truck. And she's like, okay.
And he actually says like, listen, woman. And I did not hate it. I love that.
Either.
So they pull this switcheroo because Cletus.
One of Cletus's things is that
his real reason to go to the talent show was because he wanted to buy a car from one of the record deal guys. And so he wanted to leverage his power over Claire for a record deal in order to get this guy to sell him this Buick or something like that.
So Cletus has like a weird old car and he wanted an identical weird old car so that he could do schemes where he was in two places at once so that people would think he's in one place because his car is there, but who's actually in another place with his other identical car. I don't know why you have to have two identical cars to run this scheme. You could just have two cars and park one somewhere, but whatever. As long as they're both recognizable. But what they did was they have him drive by in the Jeep where him and Jen are in, and then he has Dwayne, his car racing brother, like pull out of the driveway and go a different direction and do a switcheroo. It's
so good. So they pull off onto this side road right near Jess and Dwayne's lover's cabin. And so he like immediately pulls her into his lap. Their hearts are beating really fast. He's like touching her all over, being like, are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. And then she just can't handle it anymore. And she starts kissing his whole face. And
yeah, I feel like if there's anything we've learned recently, it's that girls are really horny for car chases.
I mean,
like we're 2 for 2 here.
We are. Not to mention Jess's reaction after Dwayne ran his race.
3
like,
for
there's
3.
Something about something about like the danger. I don't know. I think it would do it for me. I'm not sure. So.
May I just say, like, isn't it weird that it's the 50 Shades book where, like, the woman was the driver? Like, of the 3.
Yeah.
Like, why? Anyway.
I mean, he did undercut her.
She did have to beg to drive a car. Yeah.
It is true.
That
like,
did happen.
Yeah. It wasn't super progressive.
No. It's just funny that if you stacked them all next to each other, that's the one that would look like the feminist one.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so they start making out. She's like, don't stop, Cletus, touch me. They both end up topless. It's super hot.
Great.
And then Jessica comes looking for them, interrupts them. It's hilarious, like the way that she needles Cletus about it. And then he hands her a shirt and he's like, put this on. She realizes that it's his. So when they get out to go into the cabin, she's like, wait, I'm wearing your shirt. And he goes, yeah, I wanted to see what you looked like wearing it. So cute. So they end up in the cabin and Cletus tells her, she's immediately like, okay, you know what? This is a lot of mixed signals. My pride's a little hurt. I want to go home right now. And he's like, no, wait, just like hear me out here because we're not suited. And she's like, well, good then, take me home. And she's like, no, like hear me out because we're not suited, but I hypothesize that you're in love with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, I am not in love with you. And he goes, really? Because I'm in love with you. And then it is on.
Uh-huh.
They start kissing. It's so good. But then she calls him out because he is making... God, it switches to his perspective, and I love Cletus's perspective because, first of all, he had been in the Piggly Wiggly since like 7 in the goddamn morning before they opened.
Because she usually goes there in the morning to get her bananas.
Like trying to orchestrate a casual run-in. And
again, Cletus, like, what a scheme. You know where she lives. You know where she works. You go to the Piggly Wiggly, she doesn't go there that morning. Just go to one of the other 2 places where she is. You don't have to stay there all day.
It would be a less casual run-in. And also he fixates.
Yeah, if he plans something, he's going to do that plan. He's not going to be a different plan.
God, it's so good. So, not to mention that because all of this is speeding, like it's going at a much faster clip than he had planned for. One of his lines is like, I will adapt, don't get me wrong. Uh-huh. But he had to make a series of unsexy lists in his mind in order to make sure that he doesn't just like caveman her.
Right.
And so she pulls back and she's like, where are you? What are you doing? You're distracted. And he brings back the astute woman is still very astute, which I just, ugh. And then he's like, okay, I'll do anything you want within reason. Mm-hmm. So she's like, good, strip, get on the bed. Mm-hmm. And straddles him because she's like, I just want to touch you. Like, she says, I'm never going to regret discovering your body. Ugh. And so he finally throws caution to the wind, flips her over. He's like, you want to touch me? And he puts her hand right onto his erection. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I could do that. Totally. Uh-huh. And then he starts touching her, and then they both have an orgasm like together, and it's really sweet. So then fast forward, Cletus is zoning out at work. It's like 3 days after their rendezvous because he took her home right afterwards. And after all of the things, she goes, when can we do that again? And he's like, my woman is extraordinary.
Yeah. Okay. So he's zoning out at work, and Jethro's all like, what's going on? Where are you at? And he's like, somewhere else. somewhere better nicer. Than here.
Boobs.
Boobs.
And he starts thinking that he and Jennifer should get a place of their own because he is just on the marriage and babies and lifelong go get an elderly together.
He's ready to go.
He's doing it. And he actually says we needed to impose order on the chaos, which is just so Cletus. So after all of this, Jennifer's dad shows up at the shop to be like, hey, I've been thinking that you and my daughter are sort of dancing around each other. Yeah. That can't
He's
happen.
like, we know about last night. We know what happened.
Right.
She didn't come home
till late, and he punched out her brother.
Right. So they probably heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they have this long talk where, Cletus just he sets her idiot dad up to look so stupid, and it made me the happiest. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, no, you are going to accept us. Otherwise, I'm going to tell your wife that you've been cheating on her for 4 years with the school secretary. Yep. So, P.S. I know that. I have proof. Like, let's not. So Cletus goes to visit Jennifer at the bakery, and she's doing her naked baking and cleaning thing, which I love.
So the dresses that her mom makes her wear, like, they have boning and they hurt. And so after everybody's gone and the bakery's closed and she's just cleaning and baking and stuff, she'll just do it in her underwear because otherwise she gets stuff on the dress and the dress hurts her ribs.
Yeah, absolutely. So she wears an apron, a garter belt, underwear, stockings, and nothing else.
Right.
Because she's just a beautiful, shining unicorn of excellence.
And I just imagine Cletus, upon walking in and seeing this, being like the dog that's tongue unrolls onto the floor. Like
completely.
The eyes bug out.
The one that's like 4 feet long. Completely. So they start talking about what he like naked. Oh, he says naked women are always a big deal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's like, they're just boobs. And he's like, boobs are important.
Plus, they are your boobs. So she's like, even the women at the Pink Pony.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't really like those kind of places.
That's the strip club.
Oh, yeah, sorry. He's like, I don't like those places because I like to unwrap my own presents.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, did you come here to unwrap me?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, are you my present? Ah. And then some delicious oral action happens.
Oh, no.
And then afterwards, what? She's like, do I get to blow you now? And he's like, no, you don't.
Sorry. Because
he actually says the words. Wait, he says there are a lot of teeth in the human mouth.
He's never gotten a blowjob because he's scared of all the teeth.
But really, Jennifer cuts to the bone and she's like, no, it's because you've never trusted anybody enough to do that.
Right.
So, and he's like, well, change of subject then.
Yeah. He's like, well, I'm not going to let you.
Yeah. So he, the next day, takes her to Claire's place and shows her all around. And he's like, I want us to live here together. And she's not sure because of her parents, but she really wants to. And she's like, I need to get my finances in order. She's thinking this all to herself. Like, I need to be paid for my work at the bakery. Novel idea. I need to be able to support myself in order to be a grown ass person. Mm-hmm. So she tells him I need to get some ducks in a row. And then they decide that they're going to make sausage pie together because Cletus always goes boar hunting and makes at home sausages. He makes his own sausage. Mm-hmm. And so they're going to make sausage pie together because they're basic. It's just a symbol of their marriage. If that's not what they serve at their wedding, I'm going to be pissed.
May I say that this place where he boar hunts in Texas, I believe this to be a real place.
Woo!
Because when I worked at that fancy restaurant in Colorado where I met Leslie, we served wild boar. And there was a thing on the menu that was this boar is hunted wild on this open game reserve or whatever in Texas. And there was a caution thing because some of it was shot with was shot by hunters. And so it's possible that if a bullet exploded wrong, you could get buckshot in your meat. And so there was a disclaimer on there. And it was saying that it was the only place where you could hunt wild boar in North America. So I think this is a real place.
Awesome.
Only Cletus says he spear hunts the boar.
Of course he
does.
It's
a whole different thing. But I don't know if you can do that there. But there's definitely a real place like that in Texas.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Where he goes and hunts every year. And then he brings back sausage for his whole family to feed them for a year. Cletus's sausage.
Cletus's famous sausages are famous.
Yes.
Okay, so then he asks her if she will go to the wedding with him and thereby break her date with Jackson the Toolbox James. And she's like, of course I will. And of course I already broke the date. I called last Saturday. He's like, you did? And she goes, of course I did. I can't even fathom it. I'm afraid everyone else is tedious in comparison. That's like offering me frozen chicken nuggets when I could have sausage pie.
I don't know if this is when they talk about Jackson James, where she's like, why don't you, instead of putting itching powder in his cop uniforms and releasing armadillos into the station, maybe you ought to just talk to him and tell him that you think he pulls you over more than other people and that bothers you.
Yeah.
And he's like, rah, 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 rah. He's so mad.
That sounds ridiculous.
He's too big for his britches. I make his britches itchy. That makes more sense to me. And so he finally says, fine, he's going to talk to Jackson instead of just surreptitiously making him sick and itchy.
Yeah. And then after her chicken nuggets sausage pie comparison, he walks over to her and he says, I am madly in love with you, my Jennifer. My Jennifer. Every time he says that, I just die a little. So Jennifer goes home and her father is waiting for her and he is pissed.
Here we are.
He's borderline, I'll hit you pissed. Basically, he starts the conversation about telling her that her rebellion is unacceptable. She's like, well, I'm moving in with Cletus. He's like, he can't win because he's blackmailing me. She's like, you're a lying liar and I don't trust you. Yeah. And he's like, if you leave, we disown you. You leave with nothing. You leave the car. You leave everything else. And so she's frightened and she goes. She leaves her shoes at the house because she wanted to get out of there so quickly. Jennifer shows up at the Winston home. She walked all the way from her house to their house barefoot. And so she's all torn up and she's near hypothermic. Cletus takes care of her. Billy shows up, and Billy is like, I just need you to know. He like sits down and earnestly tells her that you have a safe place here. You can stay as long as you want. Like, we're your people now. It's so gorgeous. Bo walks in and he's confused, and Billy's like, no, dummy, that's his woman. Like, give him some privacy.
And he's
it's
like,
gorgeous.
he's just like very confused by this whole thing.
So then,
but wait, this is like a quote.
Yeah.
So when Cletus first sees her and he's talking to her, he's like, he figures out she walked there, and he's like, you walked here? And his monologue says, I couldn't keep my anger out of my voice, and that the sound made her flinch, and that broke my heart. I will destroy him. He will be destroyed by me, meaning her father. And then he says, wait, I'm sorry. I will be calm. I will be that fancy iced cucumber water. Continue. Tell me what happened.
Yeah.
Like, I love that his
so
version
sweet.
of calm is being fancy iced cucumber water.
Oh, I love Cletus. Okay, so then she tells him the whole story, and he is like, oh, fuck. I've gotta come clean here. I need to tell you that I am, in fact, blackmailing your father because he's been cheating on your mother. And she's pissed. And she's like, A, you didn't trust me enough to trust that I would choose you. Which I kind of understand his...
Yeah.
I kind of understand it just
I'm
because...
Team Cletus on this one. Sorry.
I am. I know. I'm just being devil's advocate because 22 years of hardcore conditioning can do a lot of things to a person. You know what I mean? So I totally get that.
I don't think he blackmailed her father because he was worried that she wouldn't choose him. I think he blackmailed her father to not have it be an issue for them, like to not put her through the pain of the whole father thing. Like, I don't think he didn't trust her. I think he was just trying to get that stressor away, which is its own kind of betrayal.
Yeah.
But it's not this betrayal. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a trust problem. It's he's orchestrating things for her instead of letting her handle her own stuff problem. Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, and that's her secondary thing. She's like, second of all, you didn't trust me to handle this on my own, and you knew that I would handle it in a way that you didn't like.
But I don't think
which
Cletus
is not
thought
okay.
She couldn't handle it on her own. I just think he didn't want her to go through it. I think he was trying to save her the pain.
Yeah, he also didn't want to lose his leverage because he knew that she would tell her mom. And that's like her family business. Sorry, Cletus. That is not your fucking business.
He just loves leverage. It's like his favorite thing. He just holds it
hoards
close
it.
every night. Yeah.
It's his precious.
Yeah.
He's like a golem about leverage. Yeah. So she's like, I can't believe this happened. Billy picks her up because she tells Cletus, don't touch me, as he advances on her to like try to fix it. And Billy hugs her and then picks her up and takes her up to Ashley's room.
Because her feet are all fucked up because she's walked for miles barefoot.
Yeah, poor thing. And I love Cletus because he's like, the rational part of me knew that I should be thankful that Billy was comforting her in that moment, but the irrational part of me wanted to rip every limb off his body. So he goes and chops wood. He talks to Billy about it. And then
she wakes up to Ashley, right?
Yeah, she wakes up to Ashley tending her feet. And she and Ashley bond. And Ashley's like, you've got to find your tribe, like especially your lady tribe, which I couldn't shout this chapter from the rooftops harder.
I was reading this just being like, oh, Melody is just like losing her shit over this. Yeah.
Losing my shit. I just can't. Ashley and she decide that no matter what happens with Cletus, they're going to be friends.
Yeah.
And they're going to can together and they're going to make soap and they're going to invite Shelly and it's going to be the most adorable brood of ladies that it's ever been.
Which is great because Shelly's all an outsider and she's super prickly and she's got OCD and stuff. So she doesn't have any friends.
Yeah.
Ashley had to leave the knitting group in Chicago to come here and marry Drew. Let's just all take a moment. And then, Jen's never had any friends because she's so sheltered. So it's like three women who they found each other. So happy.
Yeah. Well, and Sienna is new in town.
Yeah, Sienna as well. But, Sienna's good. She's got her own jet. She can go see her friends.
That's what
These three I was more happy about.
Yeah, it's really cute. And then he talks to Dwayne and Dwayne tells Cletus that he gives him Cletus's advice back from Dwayne's book.
Right.
And Cletus is like, that's stupid advice. Brr. Well, I can't believe.
So Dwayne's whole thing, Dwayne and Jess's whole conflict was that Jess was only going to be temporary in town. And so he didn't want to pursue her because it would break his heart. And Cletus had told him, everything is temporary. This is temporary. Mountains fall. Nothing lasts forever. If you get a chance at happiness, even for a week, a month, or a year, you have to grab onto it and hold on to it as long as it lasts.
Seize the day.
Seize the day.
That's right. Okay. So then, Ashley also advises Jennifer that if she possibly can, while reconciling, she should be sneaky.
Yeah, and give him
some of his own medicine.
Blackmail Cletus if she can. She doesn't even know.
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So then Sienna shows up, our Pegasus of delight. She shows up and she fixes her financial problems because she's like, listen, I'm in the throes of horrific first trimester nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can keep down is your lemon cakes. My lawyer's going to draw up a thing. I want you
to keep me in lemon cakes.
Yes. I will give you a retainer. And then also, I was going to have your bakery make my wedding cake, which means you. So why don't we just cut out the middleman? I've already canceled that order. You're going to make my wedding cake and you're going to have all the money. It's just going to rain down monies on Jennifer Sylvester. And Cletus and Dwayne have already gone and gotten all of Jen's stuff from her house and they've talked to her mom. Her mom has no idea because her dad is a total fucking coward.
Yeah, he just ran away.
So Jennifer calls her mom. They hash it out a bit. And she tells her that she's moving out and she needs to be paid. And she also tells her that her father is having an affair. And she decides to rent Claire's place all by her onesie without Cletus. It's so good.
He also has like a deep conversation with Billy at this point in time about Jen. And Billy says, she's going to forgive you. And Cletus is like, huff, huff, like, she's never going to forgive me. And he says, she shouldn't. She should probably hate me and plot my demise. But Billy says, but she won't. And that's why the two of you belong together. If you're looking for a key to your cage, that woman is it. So they fit together because Cletus is a spiteful plotter who never stops holding grudges. And Jennifer's a forgiver. That's why she's going to forgive him.
It's so good.
So she does some plotting.
She
gets the house. She sets up her she's
bank account.
Yeah. She talks to her mom about the affair. She talks to her mom about paying her at the bakery and giving her some rights and some say-so and that kind of thing. And
a contract.
They work
an actual
some stuff
employment
out.
contract. Yeah. And then she goes and talks to Cletus. And he starts giving her presents for every one of her birthdays because Cletus's whole thing is, I can't have more than 24 people in my life because that's 2 birthdays a month. And so he's like, but then he's like, I can't believe that I overlooked you for so long and I missed 22 of your birthdays. So he starts giving her all these presents and she's like, Cletus, stop. Like we're just going to talk. And so he starts telling her all of his new schemes and she's like, no. I'm not your confessional. You're a grown-ass person. If you want to tell me about it, that's fine, but you have to take control of you have to take ownership of your own actions.
Right. She can't absolve him of the things he's doing wrong. He has to reckon with that himself.
Yeah. And she's like, the only thing you're obligated to tell me about is if you do something on my behalf or you do something like...
To me, yeah.
Yeah, to me. And it's... so good. So she tells him that she's moving into Claire's house by herself. And he's like, disagree. Yeah,
he's so adorably like, no, though. Stop
that
it.
Wasn't the plan. She, tells him all about the things and she says she loves him and then she gives him the final thumb drive and is like, this is officially all the leverage I have over you. And let's be together forever.
And she's going to let him move in, but she just needs some time to live on her own and be...
Yeah, she's like, we need to stand apart for a little while. We'll still be together. We'll still have lots of sleepovers. We'll still be boyfriend and girlfriend, but I don't want to go from being under my parents' roof to like being under my future husband's roof.
Especially because he's like a planner and a controller.
Yeah, absolutely. He wants to impose order on her chaos,
right?
Or their chaos. And she's like, we're gonna be 2 separate people who really like each other for a while before making ourselves a unit.
There's this great line in there at some point where he says that his well-ordered life has been rendered to chaos, all undone by a short woman baker.
It's so good.
I don't remember where that is, but I thought that was my well-ordered life rendered to chaos.
It's so good. So then So they have a family meeting, and he tells them all about his current plot with the wraiths, and they take a vote.
Wait, I'm sorry. Dung dung.
Go ahead.
Dung dung.
Oh, Law and Order with Erin.
Law and Order with Erin.
Uh-oh.
So this motorcycle gang is just a disorganized, like, whatever sort of crime ring. Like, they're not very organized at all. And what Cletus has been doing is stealing evidence from the cops and then planting it.
Well, and observing them.
Yeah. And
He's
also,
been staking them out.
Yeah, getting his own evidence. And then planting it and organizing it in such a way to make them look like they are a much more organized crime unit. So he's been, like, writing out plans and things and then, like, hiding them in the cars in secret compartments that they don't even know about that he's planted in their cars and stuff. So he's setting them up to all go down for RICO, which is brilliant.
It is totally brilliant.
So I just want to say, and I'm so sorry, Sharks, but how is it that this high school educated auto mechanic in Tennessee, who is very smart, completely figured out the most complicated federal law there is, RICO, and fucking Fiona couldn't Google the marital privilege, and she's supposedly some kind of super spy, State Department fed. Period. The end. Sorry, that's all I have to say about that. That's all. Spent 9 months on RICO in law school. Cletus got it. Marital privilege.
Cletus is a goddamn genius.
You can figure out on Wikipedia. Fiona couldn't quite get there. That's all.
You're a dick.
She's not my fave.
I know. I
I
still haven't read her book. I need
Those
to.
sharks with their big teeth. I'm sorry. They're coming after us again. I don't know if I can live through it. Okay, it's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine.
I stand by it.
I hear you. You have to. You have convictions, Erin. That's one of the reasons I love you. Okay, so he tells them all about the RICO thing, and he is going to have a family vote. Basically, it comes down to Jethro, and Jethro abstains.
They're going to vote on whether he should keep doing it or not.
Yeah, whether he should trigger the dominoes.
Right.
And Jethro's like, I can't vote because I told myself that I would never make another decision out of hate, and I would only make this decision out of hate. It's like, it's just so noble and kind of annoying, but totally understandable. Yeah. And then he tells them all about Daryl's other family and all the things. And it's really just a gorgeous Winston scene.
It is. They all do a group hug at the end.
Oh, until Ashley breaks off to hug only Roscoe. He's so sweet. I can't wait for Roscoe's book. Okay. Do you think that Roscoe's going to be with the diner lady that's set up in Beau's book, maybe?
I haven't read Beau's book yet. I'm only on like chapter 10 or whatever.
Get the fuck
I'm
on
trying to read Firelight. Jeez.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Don't come down on me.
Yeah, podcast.
We're going to have to do another switcheroo if I keep reading Winston's.
Podcast books first. Okay. So then the bachelor party that Cletus has set up happens. And it's with his 85-year-old Navy SEAL friend.
The bachelor
as
party
the stripper.
for Jethro, who's getting married. He's in charge of the 80-year-old stripper. So none of the brothers are speaking to him because they're real mad that it's an 80-year-old male stripper.
Oh my God. So then Cletus sees the race in the bathroom of a restaurant, and they need to get revenge for Isaac. And so he's like, good, if you want to punch me in the face, that's fine. I just need to talk to all of your women and tell her that they're whores and they're awful.
Yeah. Like Isaac did to my woman.
Yeah, and so he diffuses that completely, and then it's awesome. And then Jethro's wedding happens, and Cletus makes up with Jackson James, just like
it's great
what Jennifer wanted.
And guess what? He was just like, hey, you pull us over too much, and Jackson's like, yeah, that's fair.
I know.
Yeah, won't do it anymore. Because you know what? Jackson, not that bad of a dude. The end.
No, he's just a goddamn tool. All right. And then she takes him upstairs while everybody else is doing the funky chicken, and they do some funky chickening of their own.
Is that what you call it, you weirdo?
No, it just came out of my mouth. I don't know. That's not even a note. That just happened. Specifically, this version of funky chickening is that she gives him a blowjob, and she has like because he's like, I'm gonna come. Like, this is amazing. He's like, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but the biggest one was not letting Jennifer do this when she offered last week.
Yeah. But now she's all prepared.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm gonna come and you don't want that. And she's like, no, I do. I'm prepped. It's okay. And meanwhile, I thought she's like, I've done some reading.
Because she was doing a blowjob.
That's gross, Erin.
Sorry.
Honestly.
Sorry.
We're an innuendo podcast. Not
you were like,
a...
He said this, and she responded, no, I would very much like you to. And I'm like, what? That's not how... I guess maybe I don't know what happened.
She can take her mouth off his peen, Erin. Honestly.
What I'm saying is you set it up. That's all. You set it up.
I did. I totally set it up. You're right. So... Yeah, so she's like, no, I've done some reading. I'm prepared for this. And I thought it was going to be like, the internet says it doesn't taste that bad. Yeah. But apparently not. Because what she does is she has a washcloth to spit it out in, and then she has mouthwash to gargle with, and then she has a glass of water to drink. And I was like, oh my God.
That is such a Cletus turn on. Like,
it is. No, he was like, you prepared for this. And she was like, I did. And he's like, my woman is extraordinary. Yeah. No, we don't have time for TMI with Melody. Okay, cool.
Yes, we do.
So next.
Yes, we do. We do. We do.
Okay. I don't know if this is too much. My first blowjob.
Oh, no.
I hadn't done much reading, but I don't know, when he came, I just automatically swallowed because nothing else made sense.
Right.
And so he was like, that was your first time? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, whoa. And I was like, no, you don't understand. I wasn't doing that because like I'm cool. I was doing that because literally no other option made sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really feel comfortable saying any of the things that I want to say in this moment to you, Melody, my friend. But yeah, I completely understand that sentiment. Like,
right?
I don't get it. I don't get
everything else seems like such a production.
I mean, congratulations, Jennifer. But yeah, I don't
yeah,
get it.
No, Cletus turn on 101, but I don't know what.
All right. TMI with Erin and Melody, moving on.
Yeah. Okay,
we
cool.
are a classy romance novel podcast, Melody. We're not a sex podcast. We
are also a sex podcast. We're definitely also a sex podcast.
No, Melody,
sorry.
That's why we can't advertise on Facebook anymore. If we keep saying that out loud, they're going to shut down our Facebook page. Have we already said this to our listener?
No, we haven't.
Hey, listener. Hey, just so you know, we can no longer have ads on Facebook because we are a profane porn sex podcast. They pulled us. We can't do it anymore.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Some of the other nonsense that is just fine on Facebook is ridiculous. All right. So then Jennifer brings her mom to Thanksgiving also. And it's really sweet because they haven't seen each other for 10 days. He went boar hunting. She's been baking her face off to get prepped for Thanksgiving. And she's also dyed her hair totally brown.
Which is her natural
color. Yeah. And it's so sweet. So then she goes to the door with her mom. Her mom is wearing pants for the first time in maybe ever because they went to meet the talent agent and they went shopping in New York together. It's so cute. She's also not wearing her wedding ring because she's thrown her dad out. They see each other at the door. Cletus immediately brings her into this giant kiss. Doesn't greet her mom at all because he's just so excited to see her. And Beau is like, man, we got to move the mistletoe. That's the 12th person you've kissed today. Cletus is like,
great joke.
That is untrue. I have kissed no person in 10 days.
But great joke, Beau. Good work.
Yeah, but good job, Beau. And then he welcomes her mom in. Then Cletus takes Jen outside and he kisses her some more. And Jen's like, did you notice anything new? He's like, your mom's wearing pants. But after some more really great banter, he finally comes around and he's like, you know, your hair is great, but you're lovely, Jen. No matter what color you paint your hair, I love it and I love you. His gaze returned to mine and he added on a rumbly whisper, but it's your goodness, kindness, and heart that makes you beautiful. And like, that just speaks to all of her it just speaks right to her heart. Because, like, she's always been worried that people will only like her for her looks because of her stupid fucking dad. Ugh, it's so perfect. Then they have more excellent Winston family moments where Cletus says that they're going to make sausage pie. And somebody says, so Jennifer's going to let you put your sausage in her pie? And then there are cake innuendos that I really liked. Like, it's just so good. And at the end of the book, Jennifer says, I knew without a doubt this was where I belonged. I'd found my tribe. I'd found my people. I'd found my person. And I found myself.
Also, they have sex, and he asks her to marry her.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so in the epilogue, Thanksgiving is the epilogue.
Her mom goes
brings her
home, and then that night they have sex. They have unprotected sex, and then he's like, I could have knocked you up. And he's like, let's just get married. And she's like, all right.
No, it's not like that at all. It is. But he says, if we made a baby, I'm not going to stop hounding you until you have me for your husband. And she says, I wouldn't stop hounding you about having me for your wife.
I don't understand
like,
how.
Jennifer, do you want to be my wife? And she's like, yes. And he's like, then we should get married.
You should see all the like hand gestures, like sweeping shoulder movements that were done during that explanation. I feel like you just said the exact same thing that I said.
I did, but not with the romance.
I could have knocked you up.
Nuance.
Yeah, let's get married. All right.
You were not doing justice to Penny Reid and her masterful pen stroke.
Her pen stroke.
Yeah. Wow, guys.
Wow.
I'm pretty happy right now.
Me too.
Okay. Erin, do you have a lady love?
Ooh. Yeah, I just got to think of it, and then I'll have it.
I have two.
Okay.
One is face masks, everyone. They're my favorite thing in the whole wide world. I try to do face masks all the time. My other one is watch Jessica Jones. It just came out on International Women's Day, which at this point will be last week sometime. It is so good, and there's so much dysfunctional lady love that I really love about it. You know, it's like a new side of lady love. And more than anything, guys, watch Jessica Jones while wearing a face mask, you know? It just seems like the correct course of action. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think I have one.
All right, it's mine then. I did two. I did one for Erin and one for I. One for I? Yikes. I need to go back to bed. Yeah, so you can find us on all the things. You can find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, Facebook at Heaving Bosoms Podcast, Gmail at Heaving Bosoms Podcast at gmail.com. Twitters
at Heaving_Bosoms. And that's it. Okay. Keep being badass.
And love yourself as much as you love putting sausage into that pie.
That's awesome. All right. I'm going to bed. It's 2:30 in the morning.
All right. Love you, Erin.
Love you, Mel. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.